So we've shown CoolBlue before, and yeah, we're going to make some changes. We got cable extensions, and we're going to swap out this CPU cooler. And I'm sorry if my voice is going, but hey, we'll make the best of it while we can, right? We've seen this in action, we've seen it all lit up, but today we're going to make a few changes. Alright, so like I mentioned, my voice is not the best. I'm sorry. Hey, we're just going to make the best of it that we can, right? So CoolBlue we'll start working on a little bit. Right now, it's got an AG400 as the CPU cooler. It's a tower style cooler, has one fan at the front, and it's simply pulling air through that tower or through that heat sink, and it gets pushed out of the back because there's a fan directly behind it. It is an RGB or addressable RGB fan, which is pretty cool. But I was noticing, even though in the test and everything it was running fine and I didn't have any problems with it, when I was doing heavy CPU testing, like something like Cinebench, it would go ahead and it would thermal throttle on me because it would definitely reach 100 degrees Celsius. Not a big deal because I'm not always putting it under that kind of a test or that kind of a stress, but occasionally when I edit, I'm going to need some CPU power. And yeah, I don't want to leave this thing behind. I don't want to struggle with this at all. So my options, one of them is an AG620. Same basic model. AG620 is just going to have two fans. It's going to have two extra heat pipes. So instead of the 4 heat pipes and one fan, it'll have 2 fans, still be addressable RGB, and it'll have 6 heat pipes. Yeah, 6. I almost threw up 5 fingers. That wouldn't have done any good. Has 6 heat pipes. The good part about this is that not only should it handle the load of that 12700 a little bit easier, but it should fit on the same bracket. So I'm looking forward to that, not having to take everything back apart, and I can just swap hardware around. I'll be able to use the bracket that's already in here with the AG400, and nobody's the wiser. Well, I'll know, but as far as everything else goes, it should fit. Now, if it doesn't fit, well, I got a little bit extra work to do, but it's not going to be groundbreaking. It's not going to be anything that really hurts my feelings too much. Now, the other thing that we got going on in that case is a set of Asia Horse cable extensions. These are in blue. Let me open them up real quick. I thought I already had them open, but obviously I don't. These are a bright blue color, which will look really, really good being in a computer called CoolBlue, and it's a full set. Now, these are extensions. They are not cable replacements. They're not power supply replacement cables. These are extension cables, and they do come with a bright blue set of combs. Plenty of them. So I will be able to do pretty much anything I need or anything I want, and it should look really, really good. The power supply cables that are on there now are black, which is not a problem. I mean, but I wanted a little bit extra pop of color, and I think I'm going to get it with this. There will be some RGB in this case, obviously, but I don't want to overload it with like unicorn puke. I want it to look kind of nice and presentable, and basically it's going to be taking the place of IM number 4, and I got kind of used to seeing that sort of teal colored light. This is going to be a different setup, but a nice soothing blue color would look pretty nice in here. So that's what we're going to do. And after looking at things a little bit, I have noticed my first problem. You see right there, it mounts on the side, in the front, and in the back. Well, the owner's manual says that the new one mounts on brackets top and bottom. So I am going to have to take part of this out. I do not know why I have a VGA light on. Obviously, I have, it's up, it's running. For those of you that don't remember, that is what it looks like, and it looks pretty nice. But I am going to have to take some brackets apart. Darn it. This is a full square bracket all the way around, and the other one shows 2 partial brackets, top and bottom, and so I am going to have to redo some stuff. But that's okay, because I've got to open up the back and redo the cables anyway. Now, one of the things that's confusing is because on the AG400, we had different mounting hardware that actually was labeled 1700 or 1200 or 115X, and it was a little bit easier to kind of figure out between there. This is actually different because the other one had a square mounting bracket, and this has a split bracket. Just top and bottom, basically, is how this is going to mount. Now, when it does that, it's actually going to be able to pull itself down to a different height onto the CPU and make firm contact, even though the the hardware itself is the same size or the same height. This will allow it to go ahead and fit down in between, raise higher or lower, and meet snugly on the CPU without having an issue of trying to make contact. One thing I also noticed during the teardown is I evidently did not get a good amount of coverage. I'm going to have to do a little bit better on the other cooler. Well, the other cooler's got a little bit bigger cold plate too, so I think I'll be in better shape. And real quick, when you're installing this, don't forget to peel. Yeah. A quick test fit lets me know that I got the spread pattern right, that I've got almost enough. I'm going to put just a little bit more in there to make sure I've got enough coverage, and also that I'm going to have to make sure I'm eventually going to swap out this memory because I had to raise this fan just a little bit, and that's a 32 gig kit instead of a 16 gig kit. All the other ones I have are 16, but you're not going to be able to see the RGB anyway, so I'm going to swap it out for a 32 gig with no RGB later because I think the fan and everything will do all the work. So I'm going to put just a little bit more thermal paste, make sure I have enough on here, and then I'm going to tighten everything down. So it's all back together, and I don't like it. I mean, I like it. I mean, it looks pretty good, but I don't think I like it as much as I thought I was going to like it. So we might have to do some more playing around. I kind of like the blue color, but some things just, they don't quite look right. There's maybe a little bit too much contrast. I don't know. I'm on the fence. I know I need to swap out the memory. We can't see that memory anyway, so I'm going to have to swap out those DDR4 and put this fan back so it's even across. That'll look a little bit better. The glass does fit on the side, so it closes easily. I think the cable extensions came out okay. I don't know. Maybe it's going to grow on me. Something down here in the graphics card area just doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't look quite right. I don't know. We'll see. It might grow on me. I'm going to run a couple of tests, and I'm going to explain why I had to swap out all the pieces in the bracket, and yeah, we'll go from there. So she's all put back together, working fine, not a problem at all, comes right up. Is getting a little bit better score in Cinebench R23, just a little bit better. Not a lot enough to write home about, but it is a little bit better score. It is a nice cooler. I like it. It's very, very quiet. Even when it's under a load, it's not very noisy at all. It's definitely less noisy, even under load, than IM 4 is, sometimes just sitting still when it's trying to update something. So that I'm going to like. I'm still not completely sold, or there's something looks like it's missing out of that. And so I'm going to have to discover what that is and maybe fix that or change that. It might be the ARC GPU. I don't know. Now, one thing I did with that is I went ahead and took both of the PCIe 8 pin, and I ran one 8 and I ran one 6. Now, the reason why I did that, I just folded the one that was the single pair back underneath and then tucked it up underneath. I did that so I could go ahead and have two 8 pins in case I did swap that GPU out. Now, if I don't use it, I can always take it out, and I can take that cord off the power supply. But for the time being, until I figure out exactly what I'm going to do, I went ahead and left. I'm using an 8 and a 6, but I left two 8s on there, and I just folded the single pair back underneath, so it's tucked up out of the way. Got everything tied in there where it looks kind of nice. It does look decent. There's something, I don't know, something missing in my eyes. And we'll figure out what that is. Now, as far as the bracket, I wasn't able to use anything from the AG400 at all. Part of the reason is, even though they have an adjustable bracket that will fit 1200 or 1700, LGA 1200 or LGA 1700, the AG400 from DeepCool has a little inset where you have to screw something into. The AG620, the bigger one with two fans on it, has posts coming up. So one of them has an inset that you screw something into. The other one has posts coming up that you have to screw onto. So I wasn't even able to use the bracket. I had to swap everything out. But it was relatively painless. I did do a test fit. You guys saw that, where I made sure that I'm getting full coverage on the CPU. I've got enough thermal paste there. It does tighten down nicely. It does have a good, even spread. The only thing that I can see, besides whatever's missing in my eyes, I'll swap out that memory with lower profile memory so the fan can adjust and be the same height as the rest of the cooler. I love the checkerboard or the chessboard type pattern on those coolers. It really is a nice feature that it's one of those Easter egg type things where you kind of look at it and go, oh wow, that's all right. And overall, I like the cooler itself. It's really quiet. Really, it does look good in there. Maybe I'm just not sold on the cable extensions. I don't know. I haven't figured that out yet. Maybe I need a different color. Maybe a bright white. I've got bright white. No. If I get bright white, I'm going to order another set. I did like the combs that were in there because they had a solid blue and they had sort of a translucent blue. And I used the translucent blue. And yes, I even did do the connector that goes up to the CPU, which is on the very top and the hard one to get to. I swapped that out as well. Cable management on the back wasn't horrible. It's not my best job, but considering that it's extensions and not full replacement, I think it looks okay. I have to do a little bit more tidying up. But the magnetic sides on that Maycube 310, which is made by DeepCool, that they fit, and they fit well. Now, what is next for this? It's going to get some drives in it. Some of the drives that are sitting, whoops, over this shoulder. Yeah, that one right there. That's got a couple of drives in it that I need to take out of there to put in there. And one of the drives out of IM number 4 will come out of there. You saw them using a SSD to boot off of right now. That's sort of a temporary. I do have an NVMe drive. It's a 1 terabyte NVMe, but I don't have Windows on it yet. I haven't formatted it. I'll put Windows on there. That will be the boot drive. And then I will have a couple other drives that I'll use as, say, scratch drives. I'll have one other SSD that I can use for editing videos and using it as a scratch for videos. And then I will move a few other things around. What does not go in there, or what is not left in IM number 4, will end up going in the home server. And I'm figuring out how I want to configure that. But I'm sitting, it's almost like this. No, well, maybe I want to do that. Maybe I want to do that. I got to do one thing first, and then I will move on to the next. Because if I sit there and think about all the possibilities, I'll just run around like I'll run around like a little puppy finding his tail for the first time. And I don't need to be doing that. I need to get this done, taken care of, and move on to the next project. So, yeah, that's it. I wasn't sure how much or what I was going to do with this project, other than the fact that I knew I was going to change out the cooler. I knew I was going to change the cable extensions. I didn't know if I was going to get to the drives and all that yet. I haven't. I will. That will be coming up. The next video for this will probably be when I actually swap it for IM number 4. So I'm not going to bother you guys with every little detail in between. But for this, for now, that's going to wrap it up for it. That is all I have for this video. There will be more later. Obviously, we're still working on the server. We're doing some swap outs. We're doing some other things. I've got a couple other things that I have to work, build, and all that. So we'll see how it goes. Including a friend of mine, Damien, who I need to get a computer for him because he thinks I forgot, but I didn't. Nope, I don't forget. I do forget, but I didn't forget that. Hey, it is what it is. So if you got anything out of the video, or if you found it entertaining at all, or just interesting about swapping these coolers or anything like that, go ahead and throw a like on the video. If you're not already subscribed, I got more stuff coming up. Obviously, you might want to stick around for that, so go ahead and subscribe. That would be amazing, and I appreciate it. Don't forget to visit me on the other socials. I'm starting to do streaming a little bit more on that purple channel and posting highlights on ThatPaulGuyGaming. There will be some other game-related stuff on that channel eventually. We'll get to it. Going to start working on the Discord server and a few other things, just kind of rounding everything out. So, but if you don't visit me on any of the other socials, and if you don't like or subscribe or whatever, please do me at least one favor, and that's be good to each other. Be kind, smile, wave, hold the door open, just say good morning, something, anything. You might find that it's something that makes somebody's entire day, and it might make you feel just a little bit better too. So, wrapping it up for this time, this is all I've got for right now, but until I get myself into something I got no business getting into, I'll see you later.